So if we can establish these relationships from an early age, then ideally you're not going to get to a point where you need to recognise signs, but we do need to talk about that anyway. What are the signs? What are the risks?
Well, as I said to you earlier on, depression doesn't kill people. Holding on to depression and battling through it alone is what kills people. And you know what? Most parents won't recognise the signs because the signs are the signs that they're displaying already, not talking, retreating into their own world. But we don't, how are we going to know that's a suicidal thought if our children will not share with us? What we have to do is we have to win that respect back and open those lines of communication. We've become so focused on closing the gaps between rich and poor that we're losing sight of the gap that really needs closing as a generation gap. Parent and child. Our children live two worlds, two lives. The life that we want them to live. Yes, I've done my homework. Yes, I've done. Yeah, okay, see, I love you too. And then their real life, which is sharing every intimate detail of their life with their friends because they're the only people they trust. And that's what Zeke told me.
Well,
that's what he gave me.
That's really interesting because, you know, there is so much judgment around depression. There's heaps of judgment around suicide. How do we manage those attitudes?
Well, you know, people don't realise the effect that the attitude and judgment of the 80% of the people in the country who don't know anything about suicide or depression is having on the 20%. Yeah. Every time you say, anyone who's got depression, just needs a harden up, soft cock, you know, cry baby.
Or suicide, selfish act.
Yeah, selfish act, coward. I can't, you know, every time you say those judgments, you're telling the 20% you cannot talk about this. You must continue to hide. Yeah. And if you want to know what impact that is having on the 569 people chose to leave their loved ones behind last year rather than open it up and be judged.
Yeah. And so what do you say then, Ezekiel, to your generation?
So I think the biggest thing that when talking to people from my generation is there's nothing wrong with crying. Yeah. There's absolutely nothing wrong with shedding a tear now and again and saying, you know, to your parents or to your peers, to people you trust, that I'm hurting right now. I'm not feeling myself. I'm not feeling or happy and anything, and just talking about it.
And taking it not just to your friends but to your parents, trying to also build that relationship. So it's a two-way street, but more on the parents.
Yep. We need to empower our young people to find solutions for their problems and make it okay to talk. And the only way that's going to happen is we have to change our attitude. We need to stop looking for the negatives in our children, stop looking for the problems and start seeing the potential. As soon as you see the potential, your whole life changes. I promise you, my life has changed completely, and it's all because of this little punk here.
we do have to leave it there, unfortunately, but you were very impressive. I read that you want to be the Prime Minister one day. I can see that happening. That's still the goal?
You'll need to get a haircut.
Thank you both so much for joining us this morning, Scotty.